Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another video. This time it's of the SH Figuarts Sith Trooper from Star Wars Rise of the Skywalker. So let's get started. One of the cool things about this and that I love with the SHF troopers, specifically the First Order ones, is that they had a ninja-like articulation. I call them ninja troopers. And I was always totally down. I was super cool for that. The Sith Trooper has most of that, and it loses it in some areas, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But overall, I do want to talk about how red is my favorite color. So I absolutely love the Sith Trooper. It's red, and honestly, I just want to consider him a party animal. But I don't know. I know there's also Hip Hop Trooper, which is a parody of Stormtroopers. Now he's the Hip Hop Trooper. I know Sith Troopers pretty much took his whole motif just now. So that's one of the other things. But in any other case, let's get started on this actual review. Now, this guy actually looks pretty good standing up. It's pretty good. He handles pretty well. I have the legs spread apart pretty fine. But also he does a great job of standing up. Now, one of my gripes is the neck area, and I'll get into that as I go over articulation. He actually looks fantastic, but he has zero maneuverability in the neck in reality. I think the ball joint needs to be extended because he can look up, and it doesn't look too well looking up. As you can see here, doesn't serve much purpose at all. Looking down, just about the same thing. It just looks like he's standing, like looking straight. Turning for any sort of reference is a bit of a hassle. As you can see here, it absolutely looks like there's no movement in the neck, but the rest of the body actually pretty much makes up for it. The arms extend up pretty high. You can rotate them around with no issue. I love these shoulder pads. They do a great job of staying out of your way and moving where you want them to. There is a bicep swivel. There is a lower forearm swivel as well. That moves through the armor, not through the actual point of articulation. The arms are indeed double jointed, but the armor is going to get away right here at that cut. So this is about as far as you'll get, a little bit indented within the 90 degrees. So that makes it an acute angle. You get your standard SHF peg joints, which rotate around with no problem. Now here's where it gets a little funky in a fun way. Now, you can actually extend the torso a little bit to just reach up that height. As you can see here, I could push it down a little bit as well. But when you extend it up, you can actually go left and right, but you lose a little bit of the movement and you can cause some paint rub within this section. So you need to be very, very careful. But you do get that very nice ab crunch, which will cause the back to have its natural gap that most SHF will have when you do that. You can move the flaps up to give yourself an extra bit of movement in the legs. Legs can go up this far. They have a thigh cut, which is a pretty tight too, so if you want to loosen that up a bit, you can. Legs are double jointed, but this is about as far as they'll get due to the armor. The leg can go up and down with this little bit of motion, and it has a generous ankle pivot for those of you who are going to get the Raspberry Chainsaw on. There's toe pivot as well. So this guy can actually do running poses and look pretty good. It's just that head articulation is going to be a little funky for certain ankles. Sorry, angles, not ankles. So you need to be very careful. Now, I'm going to rotate this guy to make it look like he's doing a running pose, because he's going to run from explosions like all Stormtroopers do before they get massacred. Or he can be like a total, badass. Who knows? But I'm going to try to balance him on this uneven floor I have going on, because I'm rocking this mix-up dial that I've used from Heavy Artillery Mando. And you know what? Let's actually put you on. Nope, that's not going to work. I do want to balance this guy because I know he has incredible balance like the other troopers. Just got to make sure it balances out, because I want to have some fun with this while we're at it. There we go. So, passes my balance test while everything else shakes. He's fine. And I think that's pretty cool. So getting out certain, it extends out really far as well too. I didn't test that before because I wasn't paying attention. But the more I kind of want to test this out, the more I'm like, ooh. So what he loses in neck articulation, he actually makes up for in other things. As you can see, he can ride or kick. He can extend his legs out pretty far as well too. That means he's pretty much probably going to have a nice range of motion in everywhere else as you get, your movement on. I really like these guys. I really like First Order Troopers. Ooh, and there I go being too strong. I really like First Order Troopers, and I really enjoy these Sith Troopers. It snaps right back into place. Now I'm going to leave him posed up like Gavan. you know, because he's a space trooper. And real quick, we're going to talk about the few accessories that he comes with. Now, you're going to get your standard trigger hands, which is what everyone's favorite. You want to be able to hold them. Then for weapons who take two hands, like heavy assault rifles, stuff like that, you get your standard palm holding hands. They're going to hold the grip of those weapons. Pretty nice, pretty standard. And then you get several blasters with him. So you're going to get this new blaster, which honestly, I don't know these names. So again, if you know it in the comments, I'm pretty sure someone will put it, or message me through my website and tell me. So there's this guy right here. Looks pretty nice. It has I believe this is an ammunition magazine, and it's a former handle. I know we can use these handles on the other Stormtroopers, but not on this one. It's not usable. Then we have a new looking rifle, which I think looks fantastic. And I like this one a lot. Again, this looks like an ammo clip. This looks like you store extra magazines there. And I like this little protruding part for the laser blaster. And we have the sight here. Really nice stuff. The bump stop. All these are really nice things. I like these. Then you get something that also came with the heavy gunner previously in the First Order Trooper. This guy has it with no problem. Now, I forgot to add this part on because I was messing around with it beforehand. So we have the grip of when it's stocked and not folded out. And then you have the fold out clip, which allows this to be stationed. It folds up and can be held for stationary stuff for a heavy gunner. Looks really, really nice. I like this shade of red. It's very nice. It looks very candy red. I know it won't show up well in camera, but hopefully in photos I can capture just how good this looks. Trooper guy, I know you still have the hot toy, so if you're watching this, please tell me if this red compares to the hot toy, because I didn't even open the one that I got for you to see what it looks like, so I hope it does compare. Shout out to Trooper guy, man, do your thing. I appreciate you, buddy. So let's stand this guy up. What we're going to do is we're going to compare him to other SHF as well as other Star Wars stuff and then other lines. So I'm going to travel backwards a little bit so we have a little bit of extra space in our focus. Then we're going to start comparing this guy. So here he is next to an SH Figuarts Rey from Rise of the Skywalker. Here he is next to Kylo Ren, also from Rise of the Skywalker. And I think he's a pretty good size. The helmet is pretty big, obviously. Just in case there's an alien under there or somebody with just a really big ass head. Works out just fine. So those two guys look pretty good. Here he is next to a First Order Stormtrooper. And I think these guys actually look fantastic together. And I want to make a squad out of them. I really, really do. I really like the way these guys look. I've always adored the First Order Troopers and the way they look. Here he is next to an SHF Luke Skywalker, the old man Luke. Luke looks pretty small compared to these guys, but I like where this is going. Here he is next to Chewie. We're going to just compare it with Chewie. I don't know why I'm always making that sound, but I really do like it. Here he is with a Black Series Mandalorian as well. So voila. Right? Looks pretty good inside so far. Next up, we're going to look at him next to his Black Series counterpart. I do not have a carbonized version of the Sith Trooper, but even this red looks really nice with these guys. And while they are not of the same line, I'm thinking that they could be really good fill-ins for your background characters, or just ones that'll settle if you want to slowly army build and you don't want to have, you know, all of the more expensive one. So that's fine. Next up, we're going to compare it to other lines. So let's get started on that. Here is a Mythic Legions Balam. So if you want to mix these guys with this line, that's how they're going to look. An SH Figuarts Kamen Rider, which is around the same scale as these guys. The troopers tend to be just a tad bit bigger because of their helmets. So keep that in mind, actually. Let's tick that head up. There we go. So yeah, they're a tad bigger. Here we are with a Mezco 112 Gomez. Then we have a Lightning Series Collection Black Ranger. This one is actually an armored Black Ranger that I modified. So keep that in mind, guys. Voila. Let's move these four. Excuse me. Then we have an Articulated Icon Series Ninja. Ninjas versus Troopers. We have a 1000 toy synthetic human. You don't have to look at him like that, but it'll just be funny if you do. Oop. Let's fix you up. There we go. And then we have a Marvel Legends Spider-Man to compare it to. Lastly. So voila. Overall, I'm really enjoying this line. I have adored First Order Stormtroopers, so this is something that I really enjoy. I think the neck joint needs some improvement, so maybe I'll try to modify it or figure out something that I could pop on top just to give it that extra little extension of movement without worrying about it paint rubbing. I think that's my #1 issue. So that's one of the things I worry about. And real quick, before I go, I do want to do this. For those of you that have the Special Order set, I want to show you that this actually is compatible. And I thought this was really cool. And I'm glad I got a chance to test it out. Ooh, I want to make sure that, there we go. So I think this looks really cool. I mean, this might not be for everyone, but it definitely works for me. And if I can find a way to extend that neck joint, definitely going to find a way to keep that on there just to have some fun as my Sith Trooper Sergeant or Captain, depending on, you know, the pauldron, right? All in all, very enjoyable. Can't wait to take pictures with it. In the meantime, guys, I hope that you've found this very informative. I hope that you've enjoyed. Most of all, guys, I hope you do good, be good, and drink your water. Later.